Hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Bern. This is the war room of the political revolution. Come on in. This is a daily inspirational show for those of us who are fighting in this political revolution in order to transform our government into one that works for the people. Please like, share, and comment. All that helps us do better and get out to more people. But today's burn is going to center around the urgency of our situation. We're in bad shape. We are literally heading towards a climate crisis. All of mainstream science agrees that we have 10 years to do something, or it's going to be too late. Hell, it may already be too late. We are also heading for hard times economically. I truly believe that things are going to get much worse for the working poor if something isn't done to correct the course that we're currently on. It is time to fight. The time is now. This is not the time to wait. It's the time to stand up, to get loud. We have to know that nothing changes unless we change it. We do this. Nobody else. Us. That is something enough of us have got to own. This is our fight. We the people. This is our mess to clean up. We fell asleep at the wheel. We let corrupt, greedy predators run wild with our system, and now things are very bad. But they won't get any better if we stay asleep. It's time to wake up. It's time to fight. Those of us who are awake and aware, it's our job to wake the others, inform them, and show them the ways in which they are misled. Teach them that what we're doing is how change happens, how progress occurs. This is the only way. The only way that change ever takes place is when millions of people stand united and demand it. Now, I include a link in the description of every Daily Burn to BernieSanders.com. We've got to do all you can, everything that you can. So go there. See if there's some way that you can help out the campaign. Maybe by becoming a volunteer. There's over 2 million of us volunteering to help Bernie get elected. And there's a ton of stuff that you can do. A lot more than you may think. So check that out or donate. Any amount. $3, 27, whatever you can do. $10. Any amount helps. It's disgustingly expensive to run for president, and Bernie's campaign is completely publicly funded, and we're crushing it. We've raised over $25 million. We're doing great. So any amount you can donate would be awesome. Something that I'm asking that you do while you're there, and Bernie and the campaign are also asking, is to get a bumper sticker. Then put that bad boy on your car. Then everywhere you go, you're promoting Bernie Sanders. You're promoting the movement. You're showing support. You need to show that support. We need to do all we can. And that's it. It's really that simple. If we own this, if we really own it and put in the work, we will win. I promise. If we do that, we can't be stopped. That's a fact. But we do this. And we have to understand that. That is the most important thing here. If we don't do this, it doesn't get done. This is our fight. And once enough of us understand that, the possibilities are endless. But it's going to take work. We got to be willing to put in the effort. This won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Nothing worth having comes easily. This is going to be a long and hard fight. We understand that, but it's our fight, and we got to own it and do all that we can. Leave no cards on the table. At the end of this fight, your goal should be to know that you couldn't have done anything else to make this happen. You want to know that you did all that you could. So share the truth. Be the media. Get out there and inform people. Spread the message. We can do this. You just have got to believe it. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of people to wake up and a lot more ground to gain in this fight. But this is not impossible. I don't care what anyone says, what anyone may tell you. This is how it happens. Millions of people stand up and demand change. That's always been how this gets done, and this is no different. Yes, they are strong, but we are stronger. They have lots of neat weapons in their disposal and will pull all kinds of dirty tricks, but we outnumber them at a ridiculous rate. We're strong. We're powerful. Just look at what we've accomplished so far. There's no turning back. We move forward, only forward. No middle ground, no negotiations. We're not coming to ask nicely or to beg. Things need to change on a massive scale, and we're going to make that change. And that goes much further than electing Bernie Sanders president. This fight never ends. We know that. We know that to make this happen, we have to stay active and involved. The other candidates running for president right now, the forgettable establishment shills lining the stage, trying to pull focus from Bernie, they are all running campaigns. But Bernie, he started a movement. And the blueprint is there. And the heavy lifting and the organizing has been done. This is it. This is our opportunity. Right now, this is happening. And it's exciting. Grab hold of this. Own it. Let's do all we can to make drastic, meaningful change and move our society forward. Let's give our children and grandchildren a future to look forward to. We can do this. This is what needs to happen. This is how change takes place. We're doing it. Right now, this is happening. So keep going. Keep working. Keep driving forward. Keep doing all that you can. We have the momentum, and we are getting this done. We can win this, and we can start down a more promising path. The media can only lie and hide it for so long, but we are winning. This is happening. We are doing what needs to be done, and if things keep going in this direction, we're going to win. Not Bernie, us. And that's just a fact. I really believe that we can do this. I was at a live feed yesterday. I'm not going to name names, but it's one that I frequent, and it's one of the political quitters that believes that we shouldn't vote, preaches not to vote, and that voting is actually consent to the evil that's done. That if you vote, you are consenting to that evil. I don't understand the logic behind it, but I like to stay in these people's feeds. I like to check in, see what they're talking about, see what we're dealing with. You know, as these people, this particular person preaches to the woke, the aware, the people that understand things are bad. They know that things are bad. They know there needs to be change. They know something needs to be done, but they gather every day. This person has big turnouts, way bigger than mine. They gather every day to pat each other on the back for quitting, and I don't understand it. It blows me away. But I visit there often, and I was there yesterday, and he was talking about what he usually does, and he's talking about how voting is stupid. And I was putting up angry faces, right? So he acknowledged me, and he was like, Brother Sean is here. Because he's seen my feeds. He knows what I'm about to. And he acknowledged it for a second, that Sean believes in voting. I believe that this is our responsibility. That's the thing. It's not really voting that I believe in. Voting in the democratic process is the route we're going to need to take. It's either that or rise up, like what they're doing in France. It's either throw on a yellow vest, get out in the streets and protest, which I don't think the average American will ever do, or at least until we've suffered a lot more. I just don't think we're there yet. This is a fantastic opportunity. What's wrong with this fight? What's wrong with joining with us, embracing the idea that we, the people, stay on these politicians? This is not, what we're doing here is not, okay, let's elect Bernie and then we'll all go back to what we were doing before. That's not what this is. We have to stay active. Enough of us have to know that. Or you're right. You're right. Nothing happens. But with your attitude, nothing will. You see what I'm saying? You can't preach that laying down is the right thing to do. That's not true, you know? But real quick, let's get into some of yesterday's comments. Sharon and Kyle mentioned that while the media is covering the woman that's running against Mitch McConnell, Amy McGrath, that there is also a progressive running, and we need to support him. Now, I tried to track him down. Let me know. Is this him? I looked all over the place. It's kind of disgusting how hard it is to find to find things like this. But Amy McGrath, everywhere. Endless coverage on her. But there's a lot about her that I have been told and I've heard and read and seen on my own. I don't know what my computer's doing right now. But there's a lot that I've heard about Amy McGrath that I don't like. And Sharon and Kyle have both brought up that in Kentucky there's also a progressive running against Mitch McConnell. So I went investigating. And what I found was Matt Jones. This guy right here. It says, this is from Politico. It says the liberal sports radio host thinks he can take down Mitch McConnell, and he might be right. All right. But he's a liberal from Kentucky. He's a sports reporter. Let me find. It says Jones, who hardly lacks for self-confidence, agrees. If it's Mitch McConnell, I can win, and no other Republican will. And I don't think any other Democrat can, but I can. Jones, 39, while slouched in a booth at a wings restaurant in Lexington wearing a faded Cincinnati red sweatshirt and khakis with a short, uneven haircut and a closet of University of Kentucky technical polos and visors. He looks like he would fit more comfortably into a fraternity house than the Senate chamber. I'm not a politician. I'm an ideologue, says Jones, a smile peeking at the corner of his mouth. And I think we're in a time when ideologues win. I think he's right. This is a time when ideas, big ideas, are going to be popular. We need that. So if this is the right guy, let me know. And if so, we need to be supporting this guy. Mitch McConnell needs to go. But that doesn't mean he needs to be replaced with just anybody. And I'm telling you, there's flaws in this Amy McGrath. Now, I'd love to see Mitch McConnell leave, no matter what. But you got to be smart with how you vote. You got to use your vote intelligently. That's all part of it. You know, and people get mad and they're like, oh, well, you got to vote against him. Well, yeah, but you got to be smart about it. We can't fall into the same traps over and over again. That is definitely that is, sorry, that is literally the definition of insanity. You know, it's time for change. So let me know if this is the right guy, because we'll start plugging this guy. We need to start focusing on more of that kind of stuff on this show. That's what we're going to lean towards. We're going to get more into that in just a second, but we're going to lean more towards that kind of stuff. We're going to change our focus a little bit on the Daily Bern. But let me know if I'm right and I found the right guy, if it's this Matt Jones. But he sounds interesting. I'm going to look into him. He's a radio sports announcer in Kentucky, and apparently he's very popular. I hadn't heard of him, but it's been 15 years since I lived in Kentucky, so I'm a little bit out of Kentucky news. I do have some ties to Kentucky, but not much. Anybody that's in Kentucky can give me more information, maybe on Matt Jones or what's going on with the Senate race there. Any of that, I would greatly appreciate it. Kyle was here, and he brought up the crisis in Puerto Rico. So I got a story pulled up and later on in the news segment, and we'll get into that then. Um, that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. Yesterday on the show, I talked about maybe changing the news segment, Know Your Enemy. That's what it used to be called, was Know Your Enemy. But we made some changes to Know Your Enemy, and we'll get into that coming up later on. Right now, though, we're going to get into Bernie events. This is where we talk about what the campaign is up to, what Bernie and the campaign are doing right now. The campaign just wrapped up in Iowa. They were in Iowa for 2 days and held 9 events, including opening 3 new offices, 3 new campaign offices. That's the big focus right now, all over the country, and especially in these big early primary states. They're trying to get their campaign offices up and running. The support has been so much bigger than what they anticipated that they are having trouble keeping up with it, which is great. You never have too much of a good thing in this instance. Too much support is definitely a good thing. But the campaign will be going to California on the 25th and 26th for three more events, including a town hall and a rally on Friday the 26th at Santa Monica High School Amphitheater. So I'm looking forward to that. I love watching Bernie speak. I always find it inspirational. So I will try to get a link to the rally on my Facebook page. Maybe we'll have a watch party or something and hang out and watch the rally on Friday. But that's Bernie events. And now, our last segment on the Daily Bern used to be a little segment called Know Your Enemy. But moving forward, I have decided that looking at propaganda each day in our war room, letting that garbage in here, wasn't doing us any good. We know that that stuff is hot garbage. So help me come up with a clever new name for a news segment because Know Your Enemy has evolved into something new. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. We are now going to use independent journalism. Um, I'm still going to use a right-leaning site. Today we're going with InfoWars, but we're going to use independent journalism. And The Intercept is the one we're going to focus with today. We're going to start with The Intercept. Real quick, though, I want to get into that Puerto Rico story. There are massive protests in Puerto Rico today. I mean, check this out. They are protesting, calling for the resignation of their governor, Ricardo Rossello. But thousands of protesters, look at this. Let me make that move. Okay, maybe not. Well, there we go. Look at that. Like a sea of people. Goes all the way down there. Thousands of people. It's huge. It's very, very big protest. Look at some of these pictures. They got really good coverage. This is from RT. Now, I would highly recommend RT. Remember this? Remember this? Oh my God. What an embarrassment. He is such an embarrassment as president. But these are the protests going on in Puerto Rico. And what's happening in Puerto Rico is disgusting. And it does need attention brought to it. But the people are rising up. This is what you got to do. This is what you need to do. See this? This is what needs to happen. People need to flood the streets. That's what needs to happen. But we're going to look at The Intercept and see what The Intercept is talking about today. They got a story on Trump here. It says racism is an impeachable offense. He'd be fired from any other major corporation for this dangerous tomfoolery. And this is by Sean King. I agree with that comment because think about this. Would you be fired from your job for that type of behavior? If you talk like that at work, would HR pull you into the office and maybe have a discussion about getting rid of you? Well, this is the President of the United States. He's in his bathroom having Twitter feuds with Michelle Obama and Rosie O'Donnell. It's ridiculous. And he's saying racist things. He's encouraging racism. But I'd have to read that article to see what Sean is talking about there. I don't always agree with Sean King. A pro-Israel Democrat withdrew her support for a bill supporting Palestinian rights. She now claims her name was added by accident. Huh. You'll see. This is something I show. I wasn't sure how I was going to do this, but I wanted to change to covering independent journalism. You see how there's stories over here? I should have pulled up a mainstream media site, a corporate-owned media site, so you could see. First off, way more ads on the corporate-owned sites and way more propaganda. You know, these sites cover the news. Like, here we go. Trump praises supporters who want to deport Omar as people that love our country. Did he really? All right, so they're presenting it, but they're not presenting it as fear porn. They are showing that this involves real people. These are real people. You know, President Trump is encouraging them, but they're real people. It's not just Trump. And Trump's not a boogeyman. But let's see, there's another story on Chuck Schumer. But check out sites like The Intercept. Get your news from places like that. See, look at this. Here's a picture of Kellyanne Conway. Now, something I've noticed in the mainstream corporate-owned media, especially the left-leaning, is they will use pictures of her where she looks like she's almost dead. Now, I find that weird. And they'll use unflattering lighting on her and just unflattering pictures. Same with Trump. She's not a scary looking woman. They'll make her look like the Crypt Keeper. You know, they do these tricks. They're manipulative. But I wanted to show you what a real news site looks like. And look at this, like real stories. That's all you get as you go down. Now here, this is what I'm talking about. Amy McGrath. Amy McGrath is challenging Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, but she's everything wrong with the Democratic Party. Uh, I'm hearing a lot of bad things about Amy McGrath. I'll have to read this article to see what points they bring up. But one that bothers me a lot is not only is she establishment and proven to be a yes man for big money and those interests and not the people, but she has a CIA background, which some of you know I'm the tinfoil hat conspiracy guy around here. That raises red flags for me. But let's see. A story about giving Elizabeth Warren a break. Elizabeth Warren is a wolf in sheep's clothing. She is a fake progressive. I've noticed though, not very many Bernie stories, huh? Not much on Bernie on The Intercept. There you go. There he is. There's my man. Will Bernie Sanders stick with a carbon tax in his push for a Green New Deal? Have to read that article to see what they get into. But I'm glad to see an article as I was, getting ready to say there wasn't one. But now this is going to be fun. Right-leaning time. Let's go to InfoWars. All right. Now, I've never been to InfoWars, so we're going to go into this lion's den together. I went ahead and already loaded up their U.S. news section. They don't have a politics section, but they do have a U.S. news section. So let's see. Do you know this is one of the biggest sites on the internet? Just take a second, soak that in. Something like 40 million people get their news from InfoWars. Let's see, they got a story about AOC. U.S. must have lifelong commitment to migrant children, healthcare services for life. I believe we have a responsibility to provide mental health care services to those children for the rest of their lives. Maybe we should. We shouldn't be locking them in cages at the border, and I can be against that while still acknowledging that that went on under Obama. This is fear porn that you're being shown. I'm glad you're being shown. Be outraged. Never lose your sense of outrage, but be smart about it. Know that you're being played. Let's see. InfoWars covering the Epstein case. That's good to see. Jeffrey Epstein partied at David Koch's house with Wilbur Russ, Rudy Giuliani, Steve Mnuchin, Chris Cuomo, 2 months after release from prison. You seen the list of the people that flew on the Lolita Express? There's a lot of mainstream media on that list. Cuomo is among them. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I don't really care. Let's see. They got a Anthony Weiner story. I have a weird fascination with Anthony Weiner just based on the fact that he made a political career and his name is Anthony Weiner. Bill Clinton was mentoring him. He was supposed to be something, but he couldn't keep his literal wiener in his pants. What's it say here? Hillary aide Huma Abedin reunites with convicted pedophile Anthony Weiner. So InfoWars is saying she's back with Anthony. Here's a hit piece on InfoWars. I want to see the difference between a hit piece on InfoWars and a hit piece in the mainstream media. So let me see if I can find the difference. Here's the Bernie story about how he doesn't pay his workers $15 an hour. Okay, so it says Bernie Sanders mocked for admitting he will have to cut staff hours to pay them $15 minimum wage. Now what that is, I was reading hit pieces about that the other day, but I've looked into it. Those are the salary workers that don't make $15 an hour. They make very good salaries. Hourly workers make $15 an hour. Anyways, Bernie Sanders was mercilessly mocked after he was forced to cut the hours of staffers who demanded the $15 an hour the socialist senator is campaigning for. There's something new right off the bat. They come out swinging with the socialist stuff. The mainstream media hints at it, but they come out with the fear porn, swinging on InfoWars. Sanders campaign staffers are putting in 60 hours a week, which makes their pay equivalent to $13 an hour. Think about what your salary would have to be. to be making $13 an hour after putting in 60. I know that I had a salary job before, and I got paid 30K a year, and I was working 60 to 80 hours a week managing a video store. Um, my pay averaged out to like $7, $8 an hour when you really thought about it. So, anyways, I don't know the actual figure that they get paid, but their salary is what it is. Anyways, the unionized staffers, unionized. We're the only campaign with a unionized staff. As campaign manager, ooh, I'm not going to tackle that. To boost their pay to $15 an hour to match the pay level Sanders advocated for. This forced Sanders to reduce the number of hours staffers work to 42 or 43 hours a week. Good. That's why they have a union. Good. I'm glad. This is a weak hit piece. What's Stephen Miller? He's got some tweets here. Why won't millionaire Bernie Sanders, who owns 3 homes, they love to talk about the 3 homes, instead of cutting hours, pay his staff a living wage? People are starving. What a prick. I almost made it. Is prick a cuss word? I almost made it all the way through the Daily Burn without cussing, but InfoWars brought it out of me. But there we go. That's a hit piece from InfoWars. I've never seen one before. Look at this. Look at all the video of the vitamins they sell. Holy Christ. Oops. $75. What does this do? Now you can support optimal energy levels while adapting your body to handle the daily bombardment of toxins. Overhaul your body's cellular engine with this fan favorite formula. I wonder if Alex Jones uses it. What an ignorant cartoon. It's got the squad and Trump sending them to the moon. Anyways, that was InfoWars. All right, guys. So that was the Daily Burn for today. Let me know what you think I should call the news segment now. Know Your Enemy doesn't seem appropriate anymore, unless you think I should still include propaganda from the mainstream media. What do you think I should do? Do you think it should be all independent coverage, all independent media, focus only on independent news, and don't let that propaganda into our war room? Or check the mainstream media every day and see what propaganda they're throwing out? Or do you think we'll find that by covering it through independent means? Let me know what you think. And let me know if you come up with a catchy little name, like Know Your Enemy, for the news segment. I don't know what to call it now. I all day yesterday was trying to think, well, okay, I like this idea of using real news, supporting actual independent journalism, and helping people find, because I intend to rotate and change up what sites I'm using each day as much as I can. So send me recommendations. Any independent journalism, independent media that you follow, that you find reliable and think is a good source. Let me know about it, because I may not know about it and I will use it for the news segment on this show. But thanks for watching, guys, and just remember, we talk about this every day, and people that watch this show, they know that that's what I'm about here. Is we can win. We're gonna win. We are winning. We're doing this right now. This is happening. Can you tell me anytime ever that you ever heard of a politician running for president that in the primary has over 2 million volunteers, in the primary has over 1 million individual contributions? I'll wait. I can't think of one. And then when I say that, even if you don't fully believe in this fight, you need to become part of it. You know, we can get into the details later. You know, I know people that are against Bernie because of his stance on guns. Come on. No one's coming for your guns. It's not going to happen. That's fear porn. Um, and he's not against guns. He's for sensible regulations. There's a big difference. Anyways, we can bicker about that later. Can't we make change first? Or do you really think that Q and trusting the plan and believing in Trump is going to pay off? You know, right now I'm speaking to those who think Trump is anti-establishment just because the media attacks him on a regular basis. They are building a boogeyman. Let me explain something to you about publicity real quick. There's no such thing as bad publicity. There's not any such thing as bad publicity. You know how on wrestling they have good guys and bad guys? The bad guys are just as popular and famous. They're, Andy Kaufman was a master at this type of entertainment, but when you're getting a reaction, it's good. No matter if it's a positive or a negative reaction, you're staying in people's minds. There's no such thing as bad publicity, and they built this monster. So that's why he gets so much coverage. That's why he's attacked on a nonstop basis. And that's why you think the establishment is his enemy. But they're not. They're putting on a pageant, much like wrestling, and he's the fake opposition. They're very comfortable with losing to Donald Trump. They don't mind the idea of losing to Donald Trump. The idea that they mind is losing to us. We're the ones that are against the establishment. Don't be distracted by this pageant, this circus going on over here. And I'm sorry, I find it very entertaining myself, but so are horoscopes. Q is nonsense. Trump is not a hero. You know, I don't know that there's any reaching these people. Sharon mentioned the other day how frustrating it is to deal with ardent Trump supporters. And Q believers are some of the most ardent Trump supporters you'll ever meet in your life. They think that this man is the Messiah. And these are very active political people. It's very frustrating. I know a few of them. They really believe that there is secret intelligence, Q, leaking information to the people, and that Trump is bringing down the deep state. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I don't know how much to focus on it because there's not much you can do about the fact that Trump has massive support, much bigger than the media is acknowledging. Think about in 2016 how they told you Hillary was crushing it. Was she? It's a lot. It's going to be if you put a Biden or a Warren or a Harris or a Booker or a pick a name, Buttigieg. If you put any of them up on that stage, O'Rourke, Beto, they'll lose. Trump will beat them. Biden probably be his favorite one. Biden would probably be the one that Trump would handpick to run against. You know who the last one Trump wants to run against is? Bernie Sanders. He doesn't want to run against Bernie because A, I think he's afraid of Bernie. Bernie attacks Trump every day on Twitter endlessly. Trump never says anything. Crickets out of Trump. Trump goes back at everybody else. And then Trump doesn't want to deal with us. Bernie's army, or whatever you want to call us, Bernie bros, I just call us we the people. We're coming to change our government. We're coming to reform our society. We're coming to change it into something that benefits the people. Now, you can either be part of this movement, get out of its way, or be crushed by it. But there is no stopping it. The ball is already rolling. We're going to win. So thanks for watching the Daily Bern. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you shared, thank you very much. If you participated in the show, you're awesome. Thank you to everybody that's out there doing all you can to fight in this political revolution. And just keep going. That's all I really want to say today is keep going. We're crushing it. We're killing it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next Daily Bern tomorrow.